How to grow tons of ginger in containers. Top 10 essential tips for home gardeners. Hey there, green souls and home gardeners. Welcome back to Golden Garden, where every pot, patio, and patch of soil has the power to bring life and calm into your everyday world. If you've ever tried growing ginger in a container and ended up with weak, skinny roots or sprouts that just gave up halfway, you're not alone. Many of us, apartment dwellers with just a few hours of sunlight, busy parents juggling work and watering, or weekend gardeners dreaming of that lush tropical corner, have been there. But here's the beautiful truth. Growing ginger isn't just possible in small spaces. It can thrive beyond your expectations once you understand its rhythm. Imagine stepping onto your balcony or porch and brushing your hand through wide green leaves, the warm scent of fresh ginger rising from the soil, your own homegrown spice for tea, cooking, or even healing remedies. In today's episode, I'll walk you through 10 essential tips to grow tons of ginger right from your containers. And along the way, you'll pick up a few quiet lessons about patience, renewal, and what it means to nurture life in small, consistent steps. So grab your gardening gloves, settle in, and let's grow something extraordinary together. And before we dig in, if you love discovering new ways to turn your home into a living, breathing garden, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Garden and join our growing community of plant lovers. 1. Choosing the right. Ginger to begin with the secret to a thriving harvest. When it comes to growing ginger, everything begins with the root you choose. Think of it as choosing the heart of your future plant. The stronger and healthier it is, the more life it will give back to you. Many people make the mistake of buying old, shriveled pieces from the grocery store, not realizing those roots have often been sprayed to prevent sprouting. But you, my friend, you're here to grow real ginger, vibrant, fragrant, and full of energy. Look for plump, firm pieces with smooth golden skin and tiny eyes, or buds. Those little points are where new shoots will spring to life. The more buds, the more ginger you'll harvest later. If you're someone who lives in a small apartment or has only a balcony to grow on, this is great news. One single piece of healthy ginger can be divided into several small sections, giving you multiple plants in different pots. Before planting, give your ginger a gentle soak in warm water to reawaken it from its dormancy, a simple act that signals the start of new growth. As the pieces rest, imagine the transformation that's about to unfold beneath the soil. From one humble rhizome, you'll soon watch lush green shoots rise, and before long your kitchen will be filled with the scent of your very own homegrown spice. This is where your journey begins, with one small root and a big vision for your golden garden. 2. Waking up your ginger. Before planting, the secret to a strong start. Before your ginger ever touches soil, there's a quiet but powerful step that separates the struggling growers from those who harvest baskets full of fragrant roots. Ginger by nature wakes slowly. It's like a dreamer that needs warmth and patience to rise. So instead of rushing it into the pot, take a little time to wake it gently. Start by giving those freshly cut pieces a soak in warm water for a few hours, or even overnight. This rehydrates the rhizomes and tells them it's time to grow again. Then wrap the pieces in a damp paper towel, slip them inside a loose plastic bag or container, and keep them somewhere warm and dark, like a cupboard or above the fridge. Over the next few weeks, you'll see tiny white roots and green tips begin to push through. It's pure magic, the first signs of life. For those of you gardening on a balcony or in a city apartment, this pre-sprouting step gives your plants a head start. It means when you finally place them into soil, they're already awake, eager, and ready to grow. This method saves space, prevents rot, and ensures only the healthiest pieces make it to your pots. As you check your little bundles and see the first roots forming, take a moment to appreciate the process, the quiet patience that gardening teaches us. Because growing ginger isn't just about the harvest, it's about learning to trust time, warmth, and gentle care, the same things that make your garden and you thrive. 3. Choosing the perfect container, where your ginger feels at home. Now that your ginger is awake and full of life, it's time to give it a home, not just any pot, but the right one. You see, ginger doesn't grow down like carrots or potatoes. It loves to stretch out sideways, spreading through the soil like a slow, gentle wave. That's why wide containers are your best friend here. Think of them as open fields in miniature form. A pot about 12 inches wide and 6 to 8 inches deep is the sweet spot. Plenty of space for those roots to explore without being trapped. If you're growing on a balcony or patio, fabric grow bags are a wonderful option. They breathe, allowing air to flow around the roots, keeping them healthy and free from rot. Plus, they're lightweight and easy to move when you're chasing the sun or protecting your plants from a cold breeze. For apartment gardeners, this flexibility is gold. Drainage is everything. Never skip it. Always choose containers with holes at the bottom so excess water can escape easily. Remember, ginger loves moisture, but it hates to sit in soggy soil. And here's a little bonus. Wide containers don't just help your plants grow better, they make harvesting easier too. When the time comes, you'll simply tip the pot on its side and gently pull out clusters of golden rhizomes. It's like unearthing buried treasure, one that you nurtured from a single root, right there in your own golden garden. 4. Creating the perfect soil mix, building a living foundation for growth. If the container is your ginger's home, then the soil is its universe, where every bit of life begins. Ginger thrives in soft, airy soil that breathes, drains well, and still holds just enough moisture to stay comfortably damp. Think of it like a sponge that's been gently wrung out, moist but never muddy. Heavy garden soil is the #1 mistake many beginners make. It compacts too easily, choking the roots and trapping water that leads to rot. Instead, give your ginger a mix that feels alive. Blend equal parts of good potting soil, rich compost, and something light like perlite or coconut coir. This keeps the texture fluffy, allowing roots to wander freely and rhizomes to expand without resistance. If you can, add a handful of worm castings, nature's slow-release fertilizer that keeps feeding your plants for months. It's like a quiet promise of nourishment beneath the surface. Before you plant, moisten the mix so it feels ready, not dripping wet, just comfortably damp. Then take a deep breath and imagine what's happening below the soil once you plant. Those tiny white roots will start searching, exploring, and spreading through this living foundation you've created. Healthy soil doesn't just grow plants, it teaches patience and reward. Every handful you prepare now will return to you later, in lush leaves, fragrant rhizomes, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing you built this tiny ecosystem yourself, right here in your own golden garden. 5. Planting for sideways growth. Giving your ginger room to breathe and thrive. Now that your soil is rich and ready, it's time for the most exciting moment, planting. But here's the thing many gardeners overlook. Ginger doesn't like to grow downward. It moves sideways, slowly spreading like quiet waves under the surface. So, to help it thrive, we must plant it with care and intention. Lay each piece of your pre-sprouted ginger gently into the soil with the buds or eyes facing up. These tiny points are where life will emerge, each one becoming a new stem, a new leaf, a new promise of growth. Cover them with about 1 to 2 inches of soil, not too deep, just enough to protect them while letting warmth and air reach the roots. Space each piece a few inches apart to give them room to expand. If you're growing in a large pot, try planting in a circular pattern, leaving the center open for air and light. And here's a clever little secret. You can double your harvest by layering. Place one set of rhizomes, cover them with soil, then add a second layer above. It's like stacking 2 gardens in one, the perfect trick for anyone working with limited space. Once planted, water lightly to settle the soil, and then wait. Beneath that calm surface, roots are awakening, reaching out, claiming their place. In just a few weeks, green shoots will break through, and that first burst of life will remind you, patience always pays off in the garden, especially here, in your golden garden. 6. Light, warmth, and humidity. Recreating the tropics at home. Once your ginger is tucked into its new home, the next step is to make it feel like it's right back in its natural paradise, warm, bright, and gently humid. Remember, ginger is a tropical plant. It doesn't like harsh sunlight or cold drafts. It thrives where the light is soft and the air feels alive. So if you're growing indoors, place your pots where they can soak in 4 to 6 hours of bright, indirect light each day. A window facing east or south is perfect. If you live in an apartment or a place with limited sunlight, don't worry. A simple LED grow light can do wonders. Keep it about 12 to 18 inches above the leaves and let it shine for 10 to 12 hours daily. Rotate your pots every week to keep the growth even, so your ginger doesn't start leaning toward the light. Temperature is equally important. Ginger loves the warmth, Between 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit is its comfort zone. Avoid placing your pots near air vents or cold windows, where sudden drafts can slow down its rhythm. And because indoor air tends to be dry, especially in winter, add humidity. You can mist your plants once a day or place them on trays filled with water and small pebbles to keep the air moist. With the right mix of light, warmth, and humidity, your ginger will grow lush green leaves and strong roots beneath the surface. It's not just about growing a plant, it's about recreating a little piece of the tropics right in your own golden garden. 7. Watering and feeding. Finding the perfect balance for thriving roots. Now that your ginger is bathed in warmth and light, it's time to talk about one of the most delicate parts of the process: water. Too much, and your roots drown. Too little, and they dry out before they ever reach their potential. The secret lies in rhythm, a gentle, consistent balance that keeps the soil moist but never soggy. Think of it like caring for a sponge that's damp to the touch, not dripping wet. Every few days, press your finger into the soil. If the top inch feels dry, it's time to water. Pour slowly until you see a little trickle escape from the bottom of the pot, then stop. Always empty the saucer beneath so your plant never sits in standing water. And remember, cold tap water can shock the roots. Let it rest at room temperature first before you pour. As your ginger begins to grow leaves, it's hungry for energy. Every 4 to 6 weeks, feed it with a gentle organic fertilizer like liquid seaweed or fish emulsion, diluted to half strength. This gives the plant a steady flow of nutrients, helping it build thicker, more aromatic rhizomes. But here's the golden rule: stop feeding about a month before harvest. This allows your ginger to mature naturally and concentrate all its flavor into those golden roots. Water, light, and gentle nourishment. When these three come together, your plants will reward you with a lush, vibrant display of health, right there in your own golden garden. 8. Companion planting and airflow. Creating a healthy little ecosystem. As your ginger begins to flourish, it's time to think beyond the single pot, to create a small ecosystem that supports its growth naturally. Ginger loves company, but only the right kind. It thrives beside gentle companions that help hold moisture, invite beneficial insects, and keep the air flowing freely around its leaves. If your garden lives on a sunny balcony or a cozy windowsill, try pairing ginger with herbs like lemongrass or basil. These plants enjoy similar conditions and act like friendly neighbors, shading the soil, keeping humidity steady, and adding fragrance to your growing corner. Just make sure they don't crowd the pot. Ginger needs breathing room to stretch its roots sideways and build strength beneath the surface. Good airflow is also essential. A stagnant corner can invite mold or fungus, so if you're growing indoors, use a small fan on a low setting to gently move the air. It mimics a natural breeze and keeps the leaves dry after misting. This little trick can make a world of difference in preventing pests like fungus gnats or aphids from moving in. Your containers don't just hold plants, they hold life, a living network of roots and leaves that depend on balance. When you give your ginger good company, fresh air, and just a little space to breathe, it rewards you with vibrant green growth and a peaceful energy that makes your golden garden feel alive. 9. Troubleshooting and pest control, keeping your ginger safe and strong. Every gardener, no matter how experienced, faces challenges, and your ginger will too. But the good news is, most problems start small and can be stopped easily once you learn to read the signs. Think of this part as learning the secret language of your plants. If your ginger's leaves begin to yellow and the soil smells sour, it's likely getting too much water. That's your cue to pause, let the top layer dry, and make sure your pot drains freely. If the leaves look pale and stretch toward the light, your plant is simply asking for more sunshine. And when the tips turn crispy, that's a whisper from the air. It's too dry, time to mist, or add a little humidity. Pests sometimes find their way in too, especially indoors. Tiny flying gnats, aphids, or spider mites can appear without warning, but they don't have to stay. Wipe the leaves gently with a damp cloth or mist them with neem oil, a natural plant-safe remedy. Keep the area clean, avoid overwatering, and let air flow freely around the leaves. Gardening isn't about perfection, it's about partnership. Every yellow leaf, every speck of soil teaches you something new about balance. And the more you listen, the more your plants respond, stronger, greener, and more resilient. Protect your ginger and it will reward you in return. thriving quietly, growing beautifully in your own golden garden. 10. Harvesting and preserving, turning patience into pure reward. After months of gentle care, watering, and quiet observation, the moment every gardener waits for finally arrives: harvest time. This is when all your patience pays off. As the leaves begin to yellow and fade, it's your plant's way of saying, "I'm ready." Beneath the soil lies the treasure you've nurtured for months: fragrant golden roots that hold warmth, flavor, and the memory of every morning you tended them. If you prefer young, tender ginger with delicate skin, you can begin harvesting small pieces after just 3 to 4 months. But if you dream of those thick, aromatic rhizomes that last for months in storage, wait 8 to 10 months for full maturity. Gently dig your fingers into the soil, feel for the firmness of the roots, and twist or snip away just what you need, leaving part of the plant intact so it can keep growing. Once harvested, rinse the soil off and let the rhizomes dry for a day. You can store them in the fridge, freeze them in small pieces, or slice them thin and preserve them in a jar of vodka or vinegar for months of flavor. Every time you open that jar or grate a fresh piece, you'll be reminded of this journey: from a single root to a thriving plant, from care to reward. And that's the heart of it all. Gardening isn't just about growing food, it's about growing yourself. Each harvest from your golden garden is proof that patience, love, and a little soil can create something truly extraordinary: the joy of growing, sharing, and beginning. Again, and there you have it. From a single humble root to a thriving pot of green, your ginger journey has come full circle. You've learned to listen to the soil, to balance light and water, to wait through quiet weeks when nothing seems to happen, and to celebrate the day those golden roots finally emerge beneath your fingertips. That's the quiet magic of gardening. It mirrors life itself. Patience brings beauty. Consistency brings reward. Maybe you started this journey because you wanted fresher ginger for your tea, or to fill your kitchen with that warm, healing scent. But along the way, you discovered something deeper: the calm that comes from tending life, the pride in nurturing growth with your own hands, the simple joy of seeing green shoots appear against all odds. Here in Golden Garden, we believe every home, no matter how small, can hold a bit of nature's wonder. Whether you're gardening on a balcony, a windowsill, or a backyard, your connection with the earth starts with one small act: planting. So take that next step. Try another pot. Experiment with new herbs, flowers, or vegetables. And now I'd love to hear from you. What part of this journey spoke to you most? Have you tried growing ginger before? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to start their own little green adventure. If this video brought you peace, inspiration, or a spark of curiosity, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Garden, leave a like, and join our growing family of plant lovers. Together, let's keep learning, growing, and turning our homes into living sanctuaries, one pot at a time.